Hey guys, my name is Martin and in this video I'm gonna show you how Billie Eilish and ROSALÍA made their recent single called Olvidar. I have no idea whether I pronounced it correctly because I don't speak Spanish at all, but the most important thing is that Finneas did an amazing job on the production and I can't wait to show you the ins and outs. Let's get started. So the first thing to discuss are the synth pads, and there's three different labs synth pads playing. Synth pad 1, synth pad 3, and I think synth pad 4. So let's play all of them individually and then together. So I linked all of these synth pads to the same mixer channel, where I inserted a camel crusher for some slight distortion and some compression, an OTT to make it a bit crispier, an equalizer to remove some muddiness and cut off everything below 60 Hz because otherwise it would interfere with the bass that I'm going to talk about later. Then a filter which is automated throughout the song, and Portal, and this is for the stuttering granular effect that happens in the interlude. I can play that for you. So without that effect, it sounds like this. Without the effect, it just sounds too boring, and with the effect, it sounds more like this fractured synth pad that's also actually playing in the original interlude, and I like that a lot. Then the last thing about the synth pad is the reverse synth sweeps. I played a chord on the third synth pad, then I exported it to a WAV file and I reversed it, and I then automated the volume to make it fade in a little more smoothly. I then duplicated this sound and pitched it up 12 semitones, and I used this as a subtle layer just before the chorus. Next, there is this bass sound throughout the entire song. And it's really just playing the same bass line notes all the time. There's no change in chords or something. And the bass is made in Trillion. It's a Juno 60 bass. I think I changed the ADSR envelopes a little bit here and there, both for amplitude and filter. And did the same with layer B, which is a sine wave, which creates this sub. And I really like that. So on the mixer channel, I inserted an equalizer to just cut off everything below 30 Hz because we don't really need that. And to make everything below 150 Hz mono. A filter that is again automated in the song, and a multiband compressor. So what I did is I sidechained the kick to the bass, so whenever the kick hits, this part of the sub or of the bass disappears for a very short amount of time so that the low ends don't interfere with each other. Then I cloned this bass to create the plucky bass that's introduced in the interlude, and that is then also featured in the second verse. The only things I changed are the envelopes over here. I just decreased the decay and sustain for both layers, and that makes it sound very plucky, which I like a lot. On the mixer channel, there's an equalizer to cut off everything below 94 Hz, to remove some of the low mids over here, and again to make everything below 150 mono. And I cut off everything below 95 Hz because it would again interfere with the other bass once they would play together. I also added the transient shaper just to make the attack a little higher, which makes it more punchy and sharp, and to decrease the sustain, which makes it even more plucky. And then I made an automation clip for this high pass filter, which cuts off everything below 223 Hz. And I only turned that on in the second chorus because that's where I used the same bass sound to play this arpeggio. So this is again the same bass sound, and the only difference is that it's cut off at 223 Hz and that I decreased the volume to like minus 25 dB. So let's now move on to the drums, and I really like what Finneas did with his drums in the original production. They sound very low and rumbling. So let's start with the kick in the chorus. This is a cinematic low drum that I got from the Cashmere Volume 3 pack. I decreased the out volume a little bit. I inserted a camel crusher for distortion. I automated this knob over here actually to make sure that the second chorus has more distortion than the first, just to make it more powerful and more dramatic than the first chorus. A decapitator for some extra distortion. I just turned on punish and I automated the mix volume. And again, I made sure that the second drop has a mix for like 75% and the first chorus only 25%, I think. And then there's an equalizer to cut off everything below 30 Hz and to make everything below 150 Hz mono. And in this equalizer tab over here, I boosted the very low end and the very high end, just to make it a bit more powerful in the low end and to make it more audible on phones and stuff. So additionally, I added this deep impact also coming from the Cashmere pack. And this one is very low and very deep, and I just made it completely mono. And I again sidechained the kick to this deep impact as well, so whenever the kick, which has very many low frequencies, would hit, the low frequencies of the deep impact would kind of disappear for a bit. Then there's this rumbling low sweep, which I also got from the Cashmere pack, and I'm first gonna play it without any effects. So I think the original has too many highs and mids, so what I did was I first added some distortion and then an equalizer to cut off everything above 300 Hz, to make everything below 150 mono and to boost everything around 50 Hz for some extra low punch. And I automated both the distortion and the volume to let it fade in more smoothly, and then it sounds like this. And in the second chorus, it's the exact same thing. The only difference before the second chorus is that it stops one beat before the chorus, and I really love how Finneas did that. And finally, let's have a look at some of the effects that Finneas used in the production. So throughout the song, at some points you can hear some noise crackles. And then in the interlude, you hear this. I made sure that only some part of the high frequencies are playing, and I made it extremely wide using this wider plugin, which is free by the way. And another one of these like very smooth background sounds is this PC keyboard sound, as if someone is pressing a keyboard. And for this one, I cut off everything below 250 Hz and removed some of the high end. And I added this convolver, which kind of emulates an acoustic reverb. It's a free FL Studio plugin and it's really, really nice, I think. And then the final effect are crickets. And I mean, who doesn't like crickets? They can be found in both verses. I heavily pitched it down by 900 cents and I quantized it to the beat. On the mixer channel, I cut off everything below 500 Hz because we don't need any of the low end on this one. And I added a reverb of around 2.5 seconds decay and over 50% mix just to make it more spacey and atmospheric. And that's really it for the song. There are not that many elements, but they just all fit together really nicely, and that's how Finneas made a very memorable and really cool production in my opinion. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and that you learned something. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon just to make sure that whenever I upload something new, you'll be notified. Take care, and I'll see you again in the next video.